Recently, in one of the Thursday morning Shantideva teachings, Venerable mentioned that our body and mind are impersonal phenomena. And it was interesting to see my pushback at that statement. It's like, what? There is nothing impersonal about this. This body and mind that I label as me or I don't feel impersonal. I feel quite personal. And I had to ask, what does that mean? like, I have a personal life. I have thoughts, feelings, hopes, dreams, afflictions, good qualities, and so forth. And I know I've heard a few times, at least intellectually, that if I tried to search within this body and mind for what is that me, I, my, or mine, there is nothing that can be found that is it. And so a little while after having heard this phrase that pushed my button, I was doing some analytic meditation, going through some situation at the Abbey that had come up and trying to work through my response to it in terms of applying antidotes to the afflictions. And then some words of Venerable Children came through my mind. And I paused and went, oh, even my thoughts aren't mine. And it was, this helpful antidote to this affliction is not mine. My teacher has given me my thoughts. So it's interesting to sit with that and then to ask or to examine, to put into question the other thoughts that I have throughout the day and to see where have they come from and how personal are they. And I know that a lot of my thoughts have arisen from social conditioning. My ideas about manners, what's rude or polite, my self-image based on height, weight, other physical features, intelligence, has a lot in part come from what I've been taught, either explicitly, verbally, or even just through observation. And I can see that I have quite habitual ways of relating to other sentient beings, to the inanimate objects that I encounter throughout the day. And I categorize things, appearances and behaviors, good, bad, helpful, unhelpful, rude, polite, based on what I've been taught. And a lot of these are very unhelpful. They're based in the three root afflictions: ignorance, attachment, and anger. And then so a large part of my Dharma practice is applying, to counteracting these unhelpful ways of looking at the world, replacing these thoughts by familiarizing myself with new perspectives, new ideas of how to relate to other sentient beings, the objects I encounter, and also how to relate to my internal world. And my entire ability to do this is just a kindness of the Buddha, the Bodhisattvas, the lineage of spiritual teachers since the time of the Buddha, and my own personal spiritual mentors, from them having taught me the words of the Buddha and what they know about how to work with their mind. And so there's this process of hearing these teachings, hearing these thoughts that have come from someone else, and then applying them to our own lives, testing them out, seeing if they're true. And the project being that we familiarize with these new perspectives, these new thoughts so much that then they effortlessly arise within us, so they just become part of who we are. That when we're angry at this perceived harm, we can think, oh, this is a wrong consciousness. I'm not thinking clearly. I'm not seeing reality. Words that I've heard from the mouth of my teacher. Or if that's, that's quite polite. So maybe if I'm quite stubbornly angry, I need something more powerful in terms of, is it worth going to the hell realm for this sentient being because of my anger in relation to them? Again, words I've heard from the mouth of my teacher. And just to see that these thoughts are arising through having been gifted to me, there's nothing me, I, my, or mine about it. And what came to mind thinking about this process was a story that Jeffrey Hopkins has shared with us about how he was studying with Ngawang Pelden, and that this Geshe would often repeat himself so much when he was teaching, that to avert boredom or irritation, he would try and say to himself or aloud what Nong Peldon was about to say before he would say it. And that he could, based on how much he'd heard. And I'm sure that, leaving aside the irritation or boredom, I'm sure that some of us here, we've heard certain, certain stories from Venerable Children a number of times. And that when we're receiving the teachings, we know the script or the different, the plot line or the catchphrases or the punchline, and that we might know the Dhamma point that's being trying to be made. And so that's then the wonderful foundation that we have this new script, this new catchphrase, this new punchline that we can then internalize. And then our work is to draw these new thoughts that we've been gifted up and apply it and internalize it and have, this become part of who we are in a very impersonal way. And then we also can see that in relation to our own body, how, it's vegetable goo, a product of all that we've eaten. And that, it's due to the kindness of those who have grown the food, transported the food, packaged the food, cooked the food. And that then this body that is a result of all that effort, what is so personal about that? And apparently, the cells in our body regenerate at different speeds, but most of the cells in our body, aside from some neurons, regenerate completely within the span of 7 to 10 years. And there's quite a few people who have lived here that long. And so your body is completely the result of the food that you've eaten at Sravasti Abbey, that has been gifted by donors who give the food because they have faith in the Dharma, because they want the Dhamma to flourish. So your body is the embodiment of others' faith in the Dharma. What is so personal about that? What is me, I, my, or mine about that? And for those who haven't been here that long, apparently the cells in our stomach regenerate every 5 days, maybe completely within 2 weeks. If you've been here 2 weeks, your stomach, which is the container into which our lunch is going to be poured into, that is due to the kindness of our benefactors. There's nothing me, I, my, or mine about it. And so just these have been interesting reflections to look at this statement that pushed a button for me in terms of this body and mind are impersonal phenomena, and how we can use this idea to lessen our grasping at me, I, my, or mine in relation to our body and mind, and also then to turn that to increase our gratitude and our recognition of kindness towards our benefactors, without which we wouldn't be able to take the next breath, and also to the protection that our spiritual mentors have given us by gifting us our thoughts that we can use so we can take steps on the path to awakening.